This is Dan Phillip with Workforce Wisdom, and today the topic is going to be why don't learning and development programs produce the results we want? That's a cry I hear from a lot of businesses and organizations that they engage in some training for their people, but at the end of the day and 6 months later, it seems as though it didn't work. Well, we're going to do a two-part series, and today we're going to discuss two of the five components within the series that you need to do to have a good learning and development program. The first one is timing. Timing is key for most everything in life. Well, timing is a major key in retaining and applying what's being taught for all of us. When we learn at the wrong time, it produces few results. And people learn best when they're interested in something and needing to learn it. Application to their real world is paramount to the success of any learning and development strategy. A hands-on approach makes the most sense. This increases the focus and it piques the interest of the learner. Edwin Locke wrote The Theory of Motivation. In his research, he found that short feedback loops are tantamount to retaining what you're learning and applying in the real world. But this isn't widely practiced in our corporate training. We usually have full days, few hours, and it's topics that aren't typically the right time. Well, companies are sold or convinced on the flavor of the day training, like frontline and management training seem to be the ones that have been going on most places these days. But the training is scheduled for employees on companies' time schedule. And for some, it has little to no immediacy to their own role. The learner suffers because they're going to go through the motions without being motivated to learn. This is double costly because the employee isn't motivated to learn and the company loses money and valuable time that you can't get back. So to receive the biggest bang for your buck, the training must be applicable for the employee and offered at the right time. Employers need to be listening to the employees, asking questions, getting to know their frustrations, their needs, and their desires. Asking our employees where they feel where they feel strong and where they actually feel as though they need more insight or more training. If they don't know, it means we need to spend more time or invest more time with them so that we together can come up with the appropriate training for them. This leads us to the second point in developing a great learning and development strategy, and that is people need to help determine the things or thing to which they're going to learn or the things that they want to change. When leadership or management determines what training is needed without employee input, you're typically going to assume the wrong things. In today's marketplace, everyone is even busier than ever before, in part because the shortage in labor and the opportunities for employees to pick and choose where they want to work, as well as company hiring practices. And they're bringing on more bodies than quality workers, which causes less people to do more work. And management sees what they think the problem is, and then they decide what needs to be improved. This isn't just an entry-level problem, it's a problem from the top down. The upper floor, so to speak, the C-suite, must lead the learning process and include the workforce in a collaborative and individualized development plan. I know that sounds crazy. Well, we can't individualize it, but do you want the greatest impact in the learning, and do you want to have your investment pay off? If this doesn't happen, all too often the learning is deemed more of a punishment rather than a benefit with great value. So make sure the information to be taught aligns also with your company's vision, mission, and values. Tie all learning alongside those important pieces, and it helps for your company's success. All employees from the top down must be transparent and out-front learners. Too often the lower ranks are always looked at as the ones needing to get better, while those at the top sit in their ivory towers. Or at least that's the perception of those at the bottom or those below the top floor. When this is the case, the motivation to learn is diminished. Therefore, those at the top must be visible lead learners. So those looking up willingly follow your lead. Don't expect buy-in or engagement if they feel as though they're being looked down on. Raise people up by working alongside them, showing the way, and making learning everyone's responsibility. So next week, we're going to finish up the building a successful learning and development strategy. But until then, work hard and use wisdom.